And we also ask that you pray for the young man who did this, because we never know what's on people's mind.
That's evident seeing his baby walk up and down his neighborhood. I've seen him in Family Dollar, like I said, in this store frequently. And when I seen him in the store, I'm a very intuitive person. So I immediately stepped back.
Turning himself into officers Saturday morning. Investigators say he did not know his victims, and the shooting appears to have been random. Now, a makeshift memorial sits inside the store marked by tragedy.
What's good, family? Real talk, my spirit has been heavy looking at what's going down in our cities, but we can't look away from the truth. Big Mama always dropped timeless wisdom when the world seemed upside down, and an old saying that fits this tragedy right here is, a child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down just to feel its warmth. But let's be all the way real. When the village forgets God, abandons the family structure, and lets the streets do the parenting, this is the heartbreak we are left to sweep up. 1. The summary of the tragedy. A 15-year-old teenager is sitting behind bars in Detroit after turning himself in for a vicious, unprovoked shooting outside an East Side liquor store late Friday night, August 21st. The gunfire claimed the life of 57-year-old Faith Williams and left her niece, Katrina Cowan, fighting for her life in critical condition in the hospital. As horrifying surveillance footage of the shirtless young shooter made its rounds across the internet, new chilling revelations have surfaced. Local neighbors saw the warning signs in this young man long before the trigger was pulled. Store cameras captured him actively hunting for a random target. And the grieving family of the victim, deeply connected to law enforcement, has stunned the city by offering radical Christian forgiveness to the boy who destroyed their world. To truly understand how a tragedy like this happens, you have to look at the ground beneath it. This shooting didn't go down in some isolated vacuum. It erupted on Detroit's East Side, right around Nottingham in the 15500 block of East Warren Avenue in the Morningside neighborhood. For years, communities like this have suffered under the weight of broken promises, liberal social experiments, and the steady collapse of the nuclear family. When you walk these blocks, you see the consequences of decades where discipline was thrown out the window and traditional values were replaced with excuses. This tragedy is the direct fruit of a fatherless generation left to wander without a moral compass. The suspect in this case is only 15 years old, at an age where a young man should be in the house under a father's strict discipline, studying his school books, playing organized sports, and learning the value of hard work. He was out roaming the pavement in the dead of night with a firearm in his hands. Reports reveal that this young man suffered profound trauma early on, losing his aunt when he was just 9 years old and his mother when he was only 12. When a young boy loses his maternal foundation and lacks a strong father figure to step in and instill fear of God, respect for authority, and personal accountability, the streets will eagerly adopt him. Trauma is real, and losing a mother is devastating, but an explanation is not an excuse. When there is no strong household order or moral backbone to guide a hurting kid, pain turns into anger. Anger turns into recklessness, and the community ends up paying the ultimate price in innocent blood. The chilling words from the neighbor.
Yes, he comes to this store frequently. Again, it's very clear upon first encounter with him that he has a mental issue. And that doesn't excuse what he did, but hurt people hurt people. Again, I'm not excusing what that baby did, but he was a kid, a 15-year-old. And again, immediately, you know that something's not right with him. It's very unfortunate what happened. Yeah. My husband was literally on his way to the store, and our 2-year-old distracted him. He sat down with her on the couch, and literally 2 seconds later after he sat down, we heard the gunshots. We was like, what's that? He had just missed it. He was literally on his way to the store to get me some snacks.
In thinking about how this was so random, how this could have been anyone, what is that like, knowing your husband was just seconds away from going there?
It's terrifying. It is. It's terrifying because this is a really nice neighborhood. We just bought our home over here 3 years ago. This is a beautiful neighborhood. It's terrifying. And again, it was a random act, but it's still terrifying.
No, I'm hearing that right after he shot those women, he then shot at the car riding by. What does that tell you?
Again, he's not right mentally, that he needs help. And I think there's a bigger issue that we have within the city, the lack of help for mental patients. And the people are just walking amongst us, and we don't know that they have mental issues. Again, it's not an excuse, but you need help. And you're just out amongst the public, and we don't know.
And I'm hearing that this young man, his aunt died about 6 years ago. His mother died 3 years ago. He had family, but from what I'm told, they weren't really taking care of him, checking up on him as they should have been. And now...
That's evident. That's evident seeing his baby walk up and down his neighborhood. I've seen him in Family Dollar, like I said, in this store frequently. And when I seen him in the store, I'm a very intuitive person. So I immediately stepped back and let him take care of what he was taking care of, and then I would go after him. Because again, it's upon first encounter, it's very evident that something is wrong with him mentally.
And to think, this young man lost people close to him, and now he's now accused of taking away a mother, an aunt, taking away someone else's loved one. And just the cycle.
It's a sad cycle. It's a sad cycle. But something needs to be done about people who are walking around with mental issues and need help. Something needs to be done. It's no excuse for what he did. It's no excuse. But if you're not right up there, sure. Wow. And he told us about, them watching the cameras, and they said that he was going to shoot someone. He was looking around in the store for someone to shoot.
Wow. It could have been anyone.
It could have been anyone. It could have been anyone. And again, immediately coming into contact, walking past, you can see the look in his eyes that he is not there. Something is not right with that baby. It wasn't right with him. Again, it's not an excuse.
Yeah. But
if he didn't have the parental guidance that he needed, if he didn't have anyone to get him the help that he need, how would he?
Yeah.
It's a very bad situation. And my deepest condolences to that lady's family and her children. My deepest condolences.
Seeing the warning signs. Following the shooting, local reporters hit the block to speak with residents who knew of the teen, and the testimony from Crystal Wright paints a bone-chilling picture of a catastrophe waiting to happen. Crystal Wright, who lives right in the area, revealed that she had previous encounters with the 15-year-old suspect, and every interaction left her unsettled. Crystal described running into him on the streets, stating, "Immediately coming into contact, walking past, you can see the look in his eyes that he is not there. Something is not right with that baby. It wasn't right with him." She went on to emphasize that while it doesn't excuse what he did, the lack of real home intervention was obvious. Again, it's not an excuse, but if he didn't have the parental guidance that he needed, if he didn't have anyone to get him the help that he needed, how would he? When a neighbor looks into a teenager's eyes and can tell immediately that he is not there, that tells you everything you need to know about the spiritual and mental neglect happening behind closed doors. Crystal Wright saw the void in this young man's soul. But let's be all the way real about what she said. Neighbors and community members often see these young kids spiraling out of control, walking around detached from reality, yet folks stay silent until someone ends up in a casket. A community cannot claim to be a village if people only speak up after the murder tape goes up. If you see a young boy walking around looking soulless and carrying weight he can't handle, somebody has to step up and intervene with tough love before he destroys innocent families. Hunting for a target, the inside surveillance. Further investigation and employee accounts from inside the liquor store revealed even darker details about the suspect's mindset that night. Store workers reported reviewing interior camera footage from just before the shooting occurred. According to workers, the teenager had entered the store earlier, wandering the aisles with a menacing demeanor. Witnesses noted that he appeared to be actively searching the store, looking for anyone to shoot, waiting for an opportunity. Faith Williams and Katrina Cowan just happened to be the first ones who walked across his path. Think about how demonic that is. The clerks literally observed a 15-year-old child hunting for a human target. It could have been any mother, any father, any working man or woman walking into that store. That proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that this wasn't accidental or impulsive. It was malicious intent. And that's why when people do adult crimes, they have to face adult time. If you choose to pick up a deadly weapon and hunt innocent families, you have forfeited your childhood pass in the court of law. The victims and an unbelievable display of grace. Faith Williams was a beloved 57-year-old woman who had spent nearly 6 decades building her life and loving her family. The shooting hit the Detroit Police Department directly in the heart, as Faith and Katrina are close relatives of an active DPD police sergeant. Yet, despite the badge in the family and the overwhelming grief tearing through their home, Faith's sister, Lucinda Pearson, stepped in front of news cameras and delivered a message that stunned the entire city.
Sister Faith, who died from a gunshot wound to her head. Her family would like to say thank you, each and every one of you, for your thoughts and prayers. Who have felt it in your hearts to give. A GoFundMe has been set up for the support of the children. Every prayer and kind word and contribution is deeply appreciated and will make a meaningful difference. Thank you for the surrounding family with so much love and compassion and support. And we also ask that you pray for the young man who did this, because we never know what's on people's mind. And although it's tragic, if God forgives us, then who are we not to forgive him for any sin that we commit? So we just want to thank you all and ask you to keep us up in prayer. Keep my niece that's in the hospital up in prayer, because we all need your support.
That right there is old school, traditional Christian faith in its purest form. That is the moral foundation that built our communities through the toughest trials in history. For a grieving sister to stand over the fresh blood of her murdered sibling and extend forgiveness to a 15-year-old killer takes a strength that only comes from God. But don't confuse forgiveness with a lack of justice. God forgives, but the law must enforce order. Forgiveness saves a man's soul for eternity, but justice on this earth requires that criminals pay their debt to society to protect the rest of the innocent flock. On Saturday morning, following the viral spread of his image, the 15-year-old suspect turned himself in to Detroit police officers. Detroit Police Chief Todd Bettison confirmed that the teenager had no prior official criminal record with DPD, indicating that he had completely slipped through the cracks of the system until this deadly explosion. Chief Bettison put the challenge squarely back on the community's shoulders, stating, "I challenge the community. I challenge that if you know a kid, your family, your niece, your nephew, and they're not connected, it's your responsibility to make us aware, and your responsibility to get them connected, to get them out of their room. If you haven't seen them, check on them." The case has been referred to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, with formal charges expected to be handed down. Chief Bettison is telling folks the plain truth that too many politicians are scared to say out loud. The police cannot raise your children, and City Hall cannot fix your household. The state is not your daddy. If we want our streets back, it starts with bringing back strong homes, instilling respect for the law, demanding accountability from deadbeat parents, and refusing to let our young men run wild in the streets. We have got to return to traditional values, put God back in the center, and stop making excuses for behavior that destroys our people. Faith Williams deserved to walk into that store and go home safe to her family. Her niece Katrina deserves justice and healing. We have got to do better as a people, demand law and order in our neighborhoods, and hold every individual accountable for their actions. If you believe in keeping it 100, standing on traditional values, and telling the raw truth without sugarcoating it, make sure you hit that like button. Leave your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe to my Today's Red Stories page. Keep your head on a swivel, protect your family, and stay blessed.